Significant figures. In any number, non-zero digits are always significant. Zeros are not significant except between two non-zero digits or at the end of a number. Often when saying this, we mean a decimal number. For example, let's look at 2, 2.0 and 2.00. Many students think that these numbers are exactly the same, but there is a distinction. Let's suppose these numbers have been rounded. Then if we think about the 2, anything between 1.5 and 2.5, but not including the 2.5, which would round up to 3, but anything in this range would be 2 to one significant figure. But that's not the case with 2.0, because if we have 2.0 here, then what we'd need to look at is numbers in the range from 1.9 to 2.1. Well, anything here would round to here. Anything in here would round to here. So we're talking about 1.95 and 2.05, with this one not included because it would round to here. So it's a much narrower range of numbers that rounds to 2.0 when we go to two significant figures than it is to go to 2 when we go to one significant figure. And of course we can make the same sort of argument again with 2.00. So 2 could easily be 2.1 just written to one significant figure. 2.0 could not be 2.1 given to two significant figures. 2.1 to two significant figures is actually 2.1. So we can see there's a difference straight away here. 2.01 is 2.01 to three significant figures. But to two significant figures, this would be 2.0, and to one significant figure, it would be 2. So let's just think about that a little more. So we're talking about the number 2.01. So if 2 is here, and let's say that 2.01 is here. So to three significant figures, it would be exactly itself. If we rounded to two significant figures, then it would be closer to 2.0 than it is to the next thing up on the number line to two significant figures, which is 2.1. Also, if we were just going to one significant figure, 2.01 is certainly closer to 2 than it would be to 3, which would be the next thing up to one significant figure. Significant figures are often badly understood. The misunderstandings really centre around a number like 345,000. If we know this to be rounded, how many places has it been rounded to? There's no straightforward answer to this. If the original number had been something like 344,872, then we can say that it's rounded to three significant figures. So how could we say that? Well, if we look at three significant figures, 345,000 would be here. The next thing up would be 346,000. Notice these are the significant figures here. And the next thing down, 344,000. Now this number is considerably closer to here than it is to here. So we can be definite that that's rounded. If we actually rounded this number to four significant figures, we'd end up with two zeros on the end here, and because of the 7, this 8 would become a 9. So it would be 344,900. On the other hand, if the original number was this, then we could have rounded to 3 significant figures or to 4 significant figures. If we think about 4 significant figures, the 5th significant figure is here, the 1, and that wouldn't change this 0. So we could just as easily have this as this number written to 4 significant figures. And writing it to 3 significant figures, we'd get exactly the same result. If the original number had been something like this, it could be either to 3 significant figures, or 4 significant figures, or 5 significant figures. And if the original number was this, then it could be 3, 4, 5, or 6. Let's just spend a little time looking at how that works. So, our number is 345,000.123. So 345,000 is here. If we were going to 3 significant figures, so this would be the last non-zero, and then we'd have the zeros on the end to preserve the size of the number, the next number up to 3 significant figures is 346,000. Now clearly our number is much closer to here. For 4 significant figures, then we'd have the 345,000, and the next thing up would be 345,100. And we're still much closer here. If we went to 5 significant figures, the next thing up would be 345 and 10, and we're still closer. And to 6 significant figures, the next one up would be 345 and 1, and we're still much closer to this end. The other way of looking at that, if we just do this, when rounding to 3 significant figures, we look at the 4th significant figure. That doesn't cause the 5 to change. If we're going to 4 significant figures, we look at the 5th. That doesn't get the 4th to change. In the same way here, the 6th significant figure wouldn't get the 5th to change, and the 7th wouldn't get the 6th to change. So it would be this number would be this to any of these roundings.